Most property investors think they have a money problem. I don't think they do. I think they're trying to solve the wrong problem entirely. Let me explain. Most property investors never scale. Not because they aren't working hard, not because they don't want it enough, but because they unknowingly make the same mistakes over and over again. In fact, most property investors never get past 2 properties. Not 10, not 20, 2. And here's the crazy part. Most of them don't even realize they're stuck until years later. They've done exactly what everyone told them to do, saved a deposit, bought a property, found a tenant, maybe even bought a second. Then 5 years later, they're still working full-time, still answering tenant phone calls, still saving for another deposit, and no closer to financial freedom than when they first started. I know this because I made most of these mistakes myself. When I first started investing, I genuinely thought I had a money problem. Looking back, I had a knowledge problem because knowledge creates opportunities. And opportunities create wealth. In my experience, property investors usually stop because they run out of one of 5 things: money, time, knowledge, confidence, or motivation. Let's go through each one. 1, they run out of money. Let's start with the obvious one, money. Most people start property investing like this: buy a property, rent it out, save another deposit, buy another property, repeat. Sound sensible? Until you realize what actually happens. Imagine buying a £200,000 property, 25% deposit, that's £50,000. You want another one? That's another £50,000. By the time you've bought 2 properties, you've tied up around £100,000 before stamp duty, legal fees and refurbishment costs. Most people don't realise they're playing a game that gets harder every single purchase. Eventually, they realise every future property requires another £50,000. And that's where many investors stop. Reason 2, they buy themselves a second job. This one happened to me. I self-managed for years. I thought, I've only got 1 property, then 2. Suddenly, I wasn't an investor anymore. I was running a lettings business. Advertising, viewings, referencing, tenancy agreements, deposit protection, gas certificates, EICRs, repair calls, finding plumbers, finding electricians, booking inspections, rent reviews, rent arrears, deposit disputes, sometimes even evictions. Now imagine doubling that. It's no surprise so many investors stop, because property investing no longer feels like investing. It feels like another job. I realised I hadn't built a property portfolio. I'd built myself another full-time job. I didn't become financially free. I became financially busier. Recently, I handed everything over to a managing agent, not because I couldn't do it, because I wanted my time back. They became the gatekeeper. They deal with repairs, contractors, compliance, inspections, rent reviews, tenant issues. And perhaps most importantly, they create a professional buffer between the landlord and the tenant. 2 things many landlords struggle with are increasing the rent and carrying out inspections where they have to tell the tenants they're not looking after the property properly. Having that independent buffer makes a huge difference. Reason 3, they stop learning. This one is huge. Before buying their first property, people read books, watch YouTube, listen to podcasts, attend networking events, speak to experienced investors. Then after buying 1 or 2, many stop. They think, I've got this now. The problem is, property investing keeps changing. Finance changes, planning changes, tax changes, market changes, regulation changes. The investors who continue growing usually continue learning. Reason 4, they don't understand leverage. This is another mistake I see surprisingly often. Some investors buy everything with cash. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being debt-free if that's your personal preference. But if your goal is to build a larger portfolio, buying every property outright means your capital gets tied up very quickly. Imagine you have £200,000. You could buy 1 property outright, or using sensible levels of borrowing, that same money could potentially provide deposits across several properties. Now, it's important to say leverage increases both returns and potential risk. Used irresponsibly, it can get investors into trouble, but used sensibly, it allows the same capital to work much harder. Understanding that completely changes how quickly a portfolio can grow. Reason 5, They buy properties instead of opportunities. This, more than anything else, changed my investing career. People often ask me, what's the rental yield? I rarely start there. Instead, I ask, how much value can I create? Can I move the kitchen? Can I create another bedroom? Can I improve the layout? Can planning unlock value? Can I buy below market value? Because here's the difference. Most people buy properties. Professional investors scale buying opportunities. Let me give you a real example. A few years ago, I bought a flat near London Bridge. Most people would have seen a fairly ordinary flat. I saw the opportunity to reconfigure the layout and create an additional bedroom. That one decision added around £120,000 worth of value. The rent was nice, but it wasn't the rent that changed my portfolio. It was the value that had been created. That was the moment everything changed. I stopped looking at what a property was and started thinking about what it could become. That one opportunity funded part of my next opportunity, the real secret. And here's what I find really interesting. Every one of those 5 problems can actually be solved. Not overnight, but by becoming a better investor. Learn how to analyze deals. You stop buying the wrong properties. Learn how to create value. You recycle more capital. Learn how to work with letting agents. You get your time back. Learn how leverage works. Your money goes further. Keep learning, and suddenly, the investors who were stuck after 2 properties starts building a portfolio. Successful investors don't have more opportunities because they have more money. They have more money because they see more opportunities. For me, everything changed when I stopped asking, what yield does this property produce? And started asking, how much money will I have left after the refinance? And what return will that remaining money earn? That question transformed the way I invest. So yes, money matters. But in my experience, money is only one reason investors stop. Many run out of time. Some buy themselves another job. Some stop learning, some never understand leverage, but the biggest mistake of all is buying properties instead of opportunities. If you've watched this so far, I want you to think about something. Which one of those 5 reasons is currently stopping you? Is it money? Is it time? Is it knowledge? Is it confidence? Or have you simply bought yourself another job? Because once you know what's holding you back, you know exactly what you need to fix next. After more than 15 years investing in property, looking back, money was never the thing holding me back. Knowledge was. Because knowledge helps you to see opportunities that other people walk straight past. And once you start seeing those opportunities, you never look at property the same way again. Remember, most people buy properties, professional investors buy opportunities. The good news is that's a skill anyone can learn. If you enjoy this video, let me know in the comments which one of the 5 reasons resonated with you the most. I'd genuinely be interested to hear your experiences. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.